Hello everybody, how are you all? I shall wait for to see some comments in the chat. Now if you aren't watching live, please note that there will be 10 minutes of a pre-live chat, so if you don't want to listen to that, by all means you can scroll forward. Hello Pizzazz, hello Carolyn, hello Leslie, hello Catherine. Is it pre-recorded? No, I'm real, I'm here. And Peach is possibly not, so let's close that. So who have I got on board? I've now forgotten already who I said hello. I literally had, ooh, why is my phone not letting me scroll? So I'm confused. I might be saying hello Trista to Trista twice. Trista twice Twister is quite the tongue twister. Hello Rosie Roo. I think that's all right then. Marvellous. How is everybody? I think I've just given myself a hot flush. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. I suspect so too, Rosie, which is why I started slightly later, because I thought everybody's probably looking at tulips and then they'll come and mine will have started and everybody will be saying hello to each other. It'll all be carnage, chaos. So this bit isn't, oh, hello, Michael. It is indeed not a tour of my house. That would be interesting. Just how much fur can you get in a carpet? Let's see, quite a lot. Hello, Mitzi. Hello, Mike. So the good news is, Leslie is in a fit of utter inspiration and gloriousness. I went out on my birthday and recorded because the sun was... and quite frankly, not 100% sure about the signal in patches. It's quite poor, but actually looking outside now, it's grey, it's misty. It's not Mitzi, it's misty. Oh, I'm on fire today. You may notice that the angle slightly changed because I thought what I would do is I would try propping up something behind this thing that is thingy, because to be honest, looking at me isn't really the point of the tour. So I've put a pot of Vaseline underneath, which I could take a photo of and share with you. Ah, Tish, I haven't seen you for ever. I could I could show you, but I can't show you because the phone's being propped up. I suppose I could show you without the phone, but it wouldn't have all the what's it. So if it looks like I'm a bit tilted, I'm not tilted, the phone's tilted. Or I may be tilted also because I'm now 1 year older than I was last year. Boo-hoo! Although, blessed be to be a year older and not the alternative, as I always say, which is, of all things, not so exciting. So how is everybody? I can't remember when I last saw you. I look short. I am very short, and I also have no chin. Thing is, I think what I need to do is get something a little bit shorter, smaller. Is that a little bit better, actually, than my Vaseline pot. I need to, right, hello, Sandy. Leslie, quite frankly, that's rude. Rude. I'm not shrinking with age. I look like I've got wings. I have. I'm an angel. Didn't you all know? Angelic. My mother says so all the time. Not. Hello, Susan. PAC. Oh, it's on a box. I don't need a box, honestly. Oh. It might be. Because this chair... I was actually mucking about with it, and it might be that anyway. I'll shut up now. Hello, Mary, Mummy Sanderson. Is Spanner Sanderson? That's not as easy to say as you might think. Hello, Margaret. Thank you, Margaret. Yes, I'm going to have a birthday year, I think. I can't remember who said to me, was it Linda who said, am I going to have a birthday week, I think I'll just have a birthday year. And then at the end of the year, guess what? It'd be time for another birthday. Huzzah! Although sometimes birthdays can be a little bit disastrous, so actually I'm not sure why I'm encouraging more. Hello Patricia, how are you? How is everybody? It's been forever since I last saw you. The last time I saw you, we were looking at life 4 years ago as a guide, I think. Now we're looking 4 years on. What a lot of excitement. And I tell you what's real excitement is the fact that Wednesday and Thursday was super splendid weather. So I'm very, very cheery. Friday wasn't as marvellous. I can't even remember what happened yesterday. I was at the cattery. And so I tend not to focus on anything. How many drinks have I had? I'm on a little bit of lemonade, which is always a risk to have something a little bit gassy while you're hosting a tour. But because of my age, I'm just being a little bit reckless. Nobody can stop me. I'm not going to tell you lots of other things because I'm going to be talking about some bits during the tour. The weather was fine in West L9. I like it. Leslie's doing a bit of wrapping. Have we got Sue and Rolo on board? Is Kirsty hiding? Oh, hello, darling. Anna's on board. How lovely. Anna between her Mammoth tour weekend. Bless her heart. Hi, Ronnie. No, I prefer your L9, actually. Hi, Robin. Last year, I took you around Leybourne Lakes and I was having my 24-hour ECG. That was the excitement of last year. I know how to rock and roll. Let's keep an eye on the time. No, I'm all right. I've got 2.5 minutes. Because I remember when I started. Oh, Fran is enjoying her 55th winter in Canada. My brother's just got back from Canada. And he obviously has got germs because, of course, when you go on the plane, it seems to be that you inhale everybody's germs. Although saying that, I think he actually got them before he flew. My cats... Peach has had a second bout of cystitis, which is lovely. I can't remember if I told you that already. So that was a bit of drama. Both of them went for their vaccinations, and the vet looked in Apollo's eye and said he has a small scar from obviously where he was stabbed in the face. Thank you, Anna. Hello, Michaela. But apart from that, they got quite a good bill of health, except for the fact they're both fat. But, you know. So at some stage we'll have to go on to less fatty foods, or rather just light version of their cat biscuits. Yes, no. Well, Peachy is very stressed. She gets stressed quite easily, I think. She never really used to, that I was aware of, but Peachy and myself, had the BT Openreach. No, I'm not telling you. You would love mine, Anna. They'd probably run off because they're totally antisocial. Because they're scared. But yes, groovy, great. Peachy, actually, she'll come round. She'll come round. My sister, I had to get my sister to actually make sure she spoke to Peach before she came in the house, so Peach wasn't then going to go nuts. Right, it does look like I am just about 30 seconds away. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be slightly more with it, and I'm going to actually get the video all set up and ready. So now what I want you to tell... thank you, Mummy Sanderson. Can everybody see either below or underneath, which is the same thing, below or above? Can you see me? Hopefully not. Thank you, Fran. Thank you, Margaret. Because I am also going to, you will see we're about to start off on the road, and there's a reason for starting off on the road, but I want to make sure that the volume isn't too noisy for you. So I'm going to press play and then we'll adjust it. So I'm going to ramp it down quite a lot. I've got no. Oh, good. That's good. That's good, Mike. That's a good thing. I am the voice from beyond. Splendid. So here we are, and we're in Teston. So tell me what the noise is like. Well, it is noisy traffic. But I've turned it down a bit if that's a little bit too loud, because I like to keep some of the ambient noise, but not so much that you can't hear. And actually I can thinking, hello, Linda. I'm just going to maybe turn it down just a little touch more. I mean, to be honest, that's fairly quiet now. So we are in Teston. Now, the interesting thing is, it was, we think, potentially, by we, I mean academic historians, they think it was a mistake that it's actually spelt Teston, because if you're a local, people refer to it as Teston. But it's actually spelled Teston. Now, what we are doing is we are walking up towards the railway line. Now, in my area of Kent, you will find that, sorry, I'm getting distracted slightly. If you just make sure, people, that you're actually watching live. So make sure it's actually got live. We're walking towards a railway crossing, and there is a couple of crossings. We've got Wateringbury, which would be to the right. We've got East Farley, which would be to the left. All of these level crossings. So what will happen is they're either automated, or there'll be somebody actually operating them manually, or rather not manually, pressing a button. And as you can see, the traffic starts backing up. So everybody who lives locally will know that you're just going to have to wait until the train goes past, because we haven't got any bridges across or tunnels under. And this was actually quite timely, in a sense, standing here or walking here. But then, of course, you think to yourself, well, actually, now everybody will be wondering what this middle-aged loony is doing wandering down with the gimbal. So what you will wonder, hi Tina, so you will see me then contemplate how far I'm actually able to walk down towards the signal crossing. What I probably in hindsight should have done is stayed a little bit further back. So you would have seen the train better, because of course as soon as I did that, along came a southeastern train. And this is why you shouldn't stand too close, of course, to the level crossing, because there you are, that would smack you in the chops. Then of course you have to walk across whilst hoping you don't fall over and electrocute yourself. Of course it's not going to be the case when you're walking across some of these. There you are, there's the scary thing. Let's hope there's not a train coming straight towards. Off I trotted, happily, not having been knocked over. You can hear in the background, oh hello Wendy, I must have missed you join, sorry. Wendy, David and Daisy. You will see lots of traffic crossing the medieval bridge. Please, if it's too noisy in the background, I can happily reduce the volume of the background. I just need you guys to let me know. And there you are. There's the entrance towards Teston Bridge Country Park. There's the car park. Of course, I don't need to park my car there because I'm a human. Pay and display. And all of these funds actually go into looking after the country park. You can see, obviously, weekends are much more popular. So it's an extra quid. The outrage. The outrage. And then, of course, you see what we've had to contend with, which is a lot of rain. Thankfully, I managed to avoid walking in that very mucky puddle because I had not brought my wellies. I thought about it. But then decided I would risk it for a biscuit. Now, you will see again, it's one way over the bridge. So yes, Tina, we call a pound. We also refer to it as a quid. So if it was £10, I'd say, can you give me 10 quid? There is a view of the beautiful River Medway. And these are little pedestrian parts. And I will confess that I was fine when I started going over the bridge, but you do feel rather exposed. Because you have rather large vehicles driving along, so you have to, it's a little bit like a video game. It feels almost like quickly nip into this bit before, oopsie, there's a very large vehicle coming towards us. I hope you're enjoying the colour of the river. Doesn't it make you want to have a lovely dip? Cover yourself in that beautiful brown water. Hi Laurie. Now, Teston Bridge was built in around the 14th or 15th century. Consensus seems to be that it's more around the 15th. Now, there were originally 7 arches, now there are 6. 3 were rebuilt in 1830. It's a Grade 1 listed and a scheduled ancient monument, and it's made of ragstone. There are ragstone quarries around locally. There's actually one about 2 miles from me. I think I might have mentioned before, they actually extended into the ancient woodland so that they could extend the quarry, and locally there was a lot of opposition. Now, what you're looking at is Barham Court in the distance, and I'll tell you about Barham Court later on. If you're wondering why we suddenly are looking at it further away, that's because obviously I messed up. And then it went all blurry. So at this time I thought to myself, let's just keep it on the one, because I can't seem to handle which way round and all the other shenanigans. Now in 1793, the large centre arch was rebuilt to enable larger vessels to pass through, because of course when it was originally built in the 14th or 15th century, you didn't have necessarily the size of river boats going through. In 1978 the bridge was restored, and it's had various restorations done to the bridge over the years. Most recently, unfortunately, in May 2024, there was a road traffic collision, and we don't call them RTAs anymore, because we say it's not an accident, it's a collision. So it's an RTC. And unfortunately that damaged a 10-metre section of the bridge. There are some photos, and if I remember I'll share them online, which basically means one of you will need to remind me. Now that stone fell onto the river embankment. The stones were recovered. Oh, watch this. This is fun. See, this is what happens. You misjudge whether or not you can get across the bridge. And of course, somebody is further along the bridge than you are, and therefore you have to reverse. And traffic backs up behind you. And it all becomes rather embarrassing. Yes, very good point, Mike. Double yellows, just in case people think, ooh, I can park on this bridge. The big house is Barham Court, and I'll be talking to you a little bit about that later. So yes, unfortunately, the stones were recovered by a lorry-mounted crane, and similar stones were used for the repairs. But it must have taken quite a knock, because literally a 10-metre section fell off. Which is such a shame, because obviously what you're doing is you're not then replicating the exact bridge. But I dare say, to be honest, considering the number of years since it was built, it has been repaired quite a few times. Yes, Sandy, I took my life in my own hands there. Just to give you a view and amuse yourself that somebody obviously had to reverse on the bridge. I've had to do it before, not on this bridge, on East Farley, which is a longer bridge with a curve and you can't really see as well. With a nice squeak. And here we are in the country park. So there's a little map. And you can see the river, so it's the River Medway. And you are here. Please keep dogs under close control and clean up after your dog. No night fishing, no swimming, no... And that's showing you how to pick up your dog poo, just in case you weren't entirely sure how to do it now. Here you are, so you can see the bridge in more detail now. And you can see obviously the heightened arch. And of course, there you are, a bin that you can put in. Hi, Tricia. And I love the reflections that if you look at the top of that arch. I think that looks rather lovely. And it is wonderful. Yes, you're right, apart from the traffic. You could imagine yourself being back in time. A bit of a pothole for you there. Scenic green trail. But we're not going that way. Not today. We're going to be walking towards Teston Lock. Oops. Now, yes, if you heard, that was an oops, where obviously I managed to either walk into something or nearly fall over. And you can see in the front, you can see Teston Lock in the distance. Now, Barham Court, so that large white building that you were looking at, it used to be a large country house, and I'm talking large. It was once the home of one of the knights who murdered Thomas Becket in 1170. Now, Thomas Becket, also known as St. Thomas of Canterbury and Thomas of Becket. He was Archbishop of Canterbury. He was murdered by 4 knights, possibly by them misunderstanding the wishes of King Henry II. And he was murdered very dreadfully in Canterbury Cathedral. Now, the knight's name was Randall Fitzurse. Now, bear in mind, I've probably butchered that as usual. Now, Fitzurse is a Norman name. It means son of a bear. It then changed to De Burham, sorry. And then it changed to Barham. So Barham. Now, the knight, of course, fled to Ireland after he'd murdered Thomas à Becket. It's recognised, quite a really fantastic history here, it's recognised as the birthplace of the British evangelical slavery abolitionist movement. One of the groups was called the Testonites, which you have to be careful when you're pronouncing, and they met there in the early 1780s. Now, unfortunately, the house was badly damaged by fire in 1932. It was refurbished. It's grade 2 listed. And I've actually been there because it's got fully furnished offices. It's got conferencing facilities, and you can hire for weddings and social events. And I've actually been to a wedding there. I was looking for, now this is one of my favourite things to look at. That was just glorious looking at that water. I was driving along the road looking for wedding venues for my friend, and I saw Barham Court. And I suggested it to her, and we went and visited. And it was stunning. And she got married there. And again, that beautiful view of the bridge. Yeah, I could actually have just stared at that section for quite some time. But son of a bear. Which is interesting because I do not believe bears birth humans. It's just the force of water. The force of water. And you'll see as we get further up. Whee! Devon knows how they make it so frothy. It's like a bit of a cappuccino going on there. And hopefully you can hear slightly the birds. And we are walking towards Teston Lock. Now, there's been a lock at Teston since the 1740s, but the current lock is from 1911. I had a super day. That's why I thought I'd take the video then, because it was just such lovely weather. And with the British weather at the moment, I just couldn't be sure when I would get that weather again. And of course, we're now coming to more water. So not too ancient there. We're not looking at a medieval piece of wood there. And of course you really do need to be careful when you are walking round these areas. Can you hear the bird tweeting? So maintenance works were carried out on the sluice in 2024-25. The sluice replacement project replaced the gate which had been built in 1974 because it was mechanically and electrically deteriorating, which I think is pretty much everything that could go wrong was going wrong. So, and as part of that, the landing stages for the boaters and the canoeists were renewed to provide better access in and out of the water, and you'll see one of those shortly. And I'm going to be talking to you as well, talking about that ruined building as well that you can see behind it. Now, interestingly enough, very sadly, I saw that the Environment Agency in February of this year posted that there's been an increase in antisocial behaviour, such as removing life rings. Who would do that? Who would remove a life ring? There's been increase in, obviously, graffiti, jumping from sluice structures, and speeding RIB. So I looked into what a speeding rib was, and it's a rigid inflatable boat. So they're going to be installing CCTV and increasing joint patrols with Kent Police and the fisheries team. What a sad world we live in. Of course, lots of warnings here. Underwater obstructions, automatic sluice, slippery surface, trip hazard, deep water. Don't climb on structures, don't swim, don't fish. Supervise your children. And you need to have a valid registration for your boat. Sadly, I don't have a boat. Now, for those of you who've watched some of these, like Gladiators or It's a Knockout, I could almost see, you know, people bouncing from one to the other, and I wonder if that's what people are doing. Boinging. Not something I would attempt, obviously, because it's fairly stupid. I've lived here for a few years, obviously. I've lived in this house for, well, coming up for 19 years. I've walked along here before and I've never known what that building is. And now I do. What you're looking at is, and again, maybe butchering the pronunciation, this is Teston Mill, which was built in 1808. Also known as Wateringbury Oil Mill, also known as East Farley, Teston Oil Mill. It was a water-powered linseed oil mill. Now, the byproduct was cattle cake. Who would like to have a bit of cattle cake? Oh, yes. No, thank you. So it imported linseed, which is the seed of the flax plant, crushed it, and it was converted to oil and cake. The oil was used in soaps, candles, paints, lubricants, and after 1870, margarine. The cake was fed to cattle. There are rumours of underground tunnels which have silted up. And here we have John Swan Jovi, number 2. And bit of a fascination there with the ore. Now, the chap on the right, very calmly sat there, thankfully, while the swan, I think, was eyeing up that ore. Look at this. It's like kind of, I'm sure that's edible. Is it? No. Not edible. Not edible. Tum-ti-tum. But might it be edible? Possibly edible. Let's, possibly. Is it? No, not edible. The thought process of a swan. Tum-ti-tum, tum-ti-tum. Let me shake my tail feather at you. Tum-tum-tum. And of course this chap is probably wondering why I'm stood there with a gimbal filming. But he was very good. Didn't interrupt me, didn't distract me, didn't abuse me. So that's a win. Now if we go back to the mill, there's an article in the Kentish Gazette from the 13th of March 1860, and I'm afraid I'm going a bit nattily on this one. On Wednesday, a serious accident happened to a boy named George Ashby, employed at the Tutsham Mills. He was in the loft, and while gossiping with another boy, inadvertently put his hand into some machinery at work, near which he stood. The wheel so frightfully mangled the hand and wrist that amputation was found to be necessary. This was skilfully performed by Mr. Gould of Wateringbury, the child who is only 12 years of age. 12! Bearing it like stoic. Every care was taken of the poor fellow by direction of Mr. Duke, the kind-hearted proprietor of the mill, and we are glad to learn that no evil symptoms have appeared. Oh my goodness gracious me. Poor lad. Well, we will see, I think, a juvenile swan later on, and I was wanting to ask whether they were related, but I decided not to distract them. But of course the disasters don't stop there. In 1885, there was a massive explosion involving around 100 tons of stored oil. And the mill was destroyed, and that is why you will only see the ruins. The tales that building could tell. Interestingly enough, so you have to phone to be able to get a code so you can actually open the box. I can see that Susan fell off a treadmill, and I think she has confirmed what we always knew: exercise is indeed bad for you. So sofa surfing it is. Susan, behave yourself, get well soon. And there's John Swanbovey going back to see whether or not that ore really isn't edible. Then he realised I'm still watching, so off he trots. In a very swan-like fashion of trotting. Shaking his little tail feather. Now you're looking at a house that we should all buy. And a gorgeous weeping willow. Look at that. My grandma used to have a weeping willow in her back garden. Now, Teston Canoe and Fish Pass, and this is really interesting. So I looked into this, and in 2013 there was a BBC article which reported the fitting of the fish pass, allowing fish to travel upstream. It also operates as a pass for canoeists. So the pass was installed in place of a disused bypass channel and provides a slope for freshwater fish such as barbel, roach, perch, dace, chub and pike. How lovely. They've got their own little pass. The lock was the first in the country to be able to measure the flow of water cascading down it, which enables the Environment Agency to manage water resources in the area. And if you look, you'll see obviously that we've got a little bit of flooding. I'll talk about that later, but you'll also see quite a few birds' nests while the trees are bare. You can see that we've had a few birds using them for their nests. Cricket bats made of willow wood. I don't think anybody should let me loose with a cricket bat. And if you are enjoying the video, please do like it. YouTube likes it. I like it. Makes me feel good about myself. And if you are enjoying the tour, I'd very much appreciate if you're able to send me a tip. And I've put my link to PayPal as a pinned comment. And that is some view, isn't it? A very Kentish view. Can you hear somebody in the background? Walking his dog. And interesting, the mill was said to have been built by John Rennie, who built London Bridge. Those are indeed oast houses in the background, and excitingly for me, hopefully for you, I've bought a book only last week on oast houses, so hopefully we'll be able to have a tour on that at some point this year. Yes, this is in Kent. This is Teston, which is a small village in Maidstone. There's about 250 houses, and the population's been fairly similar over the last 30 to 40 years. A large part of the village has got conservation area status. Wouldn't take much for the water to make its way over the walkway, I don't think. did start looking in that water, wondering what was buried underneath. So move swiftly on before a hand reaches from below. We'll talk about conservation grazing with our little moo cows. And these, of course, are gates, making sure that the cattle can't escape. And you can see there's a rope over this one. Oh, needs a bit of oil. And again, lots more water around here, settled. Beautiful open green space. Now, Teston Country Park was opened in the autumn of 1978. Before that, the area was used for grazing livestock. And here we are. Here's John Bon Swovey. No, that's interesting, but not its name. John Swan Bovey, number 3. And doing a little bit of a little thing with its foot. A little bit of a balance there. Oh, it's warming up its little tootsie in the sun. And you can see the darker feathers here, so it's a juvenile, this one. And a few of these. What do we think? Tish, that's grim. Now, this one was having a proper good old groom here. Not sure whether it was their mum that we saw. Or just a pal. Well, could be mares. Is Mike still on board? I don't know why I'm asking Mike. Mike will come up with some. It definitely won't be a gopher or a snake. It'll be a male. Could well be a male because there's quite a few. At first I was wondering whether they were anthills, but we have quite a few. Quite a few. So Teston Country Park has got 32 acres of grazed meadow. It's got a children's play area and obviously the river walks. Bridge Meadow, so the large grass area next to the car park, has events throughout the year, which includes a kite festival. I didn't even know there was a kite festival. So that's interesting. I'll have to keep an eye out for that. Well, yes, very near water for moles. Mares, yes. So what else do we have? So Tutcham Meadow and Coombe Hill are used to graze cattle. They've got native wildflowers in the summer, so I'll have to come back and look at those. So they've got the conservation grazing, so they're managing the site to encourage wildlife. They have a rare breed of cattle, Shetland cattle, which was introduced. Now, due to grazing, it creates a mix of long and short patches of grass, which allows other species to become established. Many invertebrates depend on the dung. How wonderful to depend on dung. Over 250 species of insects are found in or on cattle dung in the UK. They help pollinate flowers and are food for birds and bats. The grassland is a great habitat for small mammals, which of course become food for bird of prey such as barn owls and kestrels. And as we've seen, the areas close to the river tend to flood in winter, creating a natural wetland habitat. Occasionally otters can be seen hunting along the river. I mean, that would be quite a sight. Look at that sunlight glistening on the water. Unfortunately, the path has dried out. I did come here for New Year's Day 2025, I think. I'm about to sneeze, pardon me. No, it's gone. Splendid. And it was rather muddy. And again, whee! Let's jump off. Splat. We're just going to take a lovely, peaceful walk around. Let's looking at more hares. Different hares. Are these rabbit hares? Dragon hares. Look, see in the distance, see all those birds' nests. And in the distance, you will see horses and ponies. Quite a few horses and ponies. And there was a white horse, but it stood so close to the tree that I don't think I was actually able to pick it up with the on the video. Be interesting to know whether or not there's some stables. So those are the cases. So that's KCC's, Kent County Council. Those are the mooring posts. So you can buy a mooring space, moor your boat. And you can see again, there's the white pony right in the middle. And then it's gone. there was very few people, which suited me very well. It was a Wednesday, so there's the better view, maybe a different white pony. And this, of course, look at that, like an enchanted wood. Imagine going in there in the dark. Now, there was actually a couple there, so that's, I think, the sound of them closing the gate. So what have I been up to? I thought I'd share a little bit of some of my excitement, as I have had a bit of chaos recently. So I went down to Hampshire for my sister's birthday, and that's my mother's is about 87 miles away from me, and I would say at 85.5 miles away from my home, I was came off the motorway, went round a roundabout and hit a pothole, at which point I hit it quite hard and suddenly thought, I think that's punctured my tyre. You can just feel slight difference in the way the car's driving. So I pulled over onto a lay-by. It is pouring with rain. I mean, torrential rain. So I get out and I look, and I have an incredibly flat tyre. And I'm about 1.5 miles away from my mother's house. But I cannot drive on a flat tyre. So I went onto my phone and I located my road cover recovery, and I knew I had recovery because I always make sure that I'm covered. So I phoned them up and I explained where I was, and they said, okay then, well, we can send somebody out to recover you and take you to a garage, but you'll need to make sure the garage will accept you. Sorry, what? So I'll send you some numbers. Sorry, what? Or we can send you some numbers for a mobile mechanic. Sorry, what? So I spent the next 30 minutes making phone calls. The garages obviously didn't have the tyre in. One of the numbers they gave me didn't have tyres. Doesn't do tyres. Splendid. So they've given me a number for a garage that doesn't do tyres. Another one that wouldn't have tyres until Monday. This is Friday. Another one that didn't have tyres until the next day. The mobile mechanics, sorry, we're fully booked. Sorry, we're fully booked until this evening, or we can come out till tomorrow. One had a £95 call-out charge. So they said to me, if you don't get us out to recover you, what we'll do is we'll refund £40 of your call-out charge, which sounds amazing, doesn't it? Except that the call-out charge was more than £40. Of course it was. So 30 minutes of being told this. Also WhatsApping my family. Started having a meltdown. And a car pulls up in front of me on the lay-by, and this woman comes out and she's bearing a plate. And it's my mother. She's brought me a plate with sandwiches and some cherry tomatoes. How very splendid of her. So that was helped very much to reduce the meltdown that I was having, I made a phone call, and I think I was probably quite rude to the operator, because she said to me, I said, none of these numbers are any good. I said, can you take me to my mother's, whereupon, which is 1.5 miles away, whereupon I will then phone and find a garage that will actually help. No, if we take you to mother's, that's it. That's the end of our involvement. Oh, is that what they're called, Mike? Teasels, I love them. Maltesers. So yes, I was very annoyed. I mean, about as helpful as a chocolate teacup. So my mother had said that she used this tyre company, and I was like, okay, well, I rang them and it didn't go through. So then I found another number for them, and I spoke and it cut off. So I thought, well, this is a nightmare. I can't get through. So my car company is never to be used again. It was called Emergency Assist. So unfortunately, I have a lovely car. It's a Honda Jazz. There is no spare tyre in the car. So it's not a case of them putting a spare tyre on or me putting on a spare tyre. I have my own spare tyre. It's a case of need to go somewhere to get a tyre. So that made things more complicated. My previous car had a spare tyre. So I was like, goodness gracious me. Then the chap that I'd tried calling rang me back. And they splendidly, Horndean tyres, they actually had issues with their phone. Well, of course they did, because on the one occasion I would need to contact them, the phones were down. So I said to him, would you be able to come out? Well, the call-out charge was £60, so I figured at least I'm only down £20 in the cost of the tyre. They said, yes, we'll probably be about an hour. An hour. He didn't say an hour, but it was about an hour. I thought, okay, I said, right. I said to Mum, I said, I really need the loo. I'm not going to last an hour. So my darling mother drove me to her house so I could use the loo. So walked in and saw Mummy's husband, Michael, said, I'm here, but I'm not really here. So then my mother drove me back. And of course, at this stage, I'm slightly concerned she's going to drive over the pothole. But she didn't. So she dropped me off. And lo and behold, 10 minutes later, this chap came along. And in a jiffy, pretty much it felt, he'd changed the tyre. It was actually really good service. When I think about it, it was very quick. Very happy with them. And of course, I probably could have waited for the loo because they were so much quicker than I thought. It did not help that while calling all these places, the rain was so noisy on the car that you could not really hear. So that wasn't very helpful. So I've put my claim in for the £40 call-out fee, and I haven't heard anything back, so no doubt I'll have to chase that. But absolutely dreadful. And I was thinking to myself, I could have been stuck on the side of the motorway. And I agree with you, Sue. I will try the RAC, I will try AA, I will try Green Flag. Well, no, that guy's phone number would be no help to me because it's 90 miles from where I live. This is the funny thing. I could have actually said to them, can you drive me back to Kent? Probably. I've got recovery. Goodness knows. So later on, I said to my mum, I really want to go and take a photograph of the pothole, not because I want to put it in a photo album and, you know, save for the grandkids, mainly because I don't have any kids, let alone grandkids, but because I want to make a claim with the local authority, because actually it had been reported. They'll probably turn it back down, but quite frankly, who knows? So Mother said, well, it's quite dangerous. And I said, I know. Mother probably knows that I probably would have put myself into a dangerous situation. So she then said she would come with me because she knows then I will be unable to put myself into a dangerous situation. So as we drove along, lo and behold, there was another woman parked by the side of the road with exactly the same flat tyre. Well, not exactly the same flat tyre, because that would have meant she would have taken it out of the man's van and put it on her car, which would be silly. Exactly, her front right tyre had the same flatness. Unbelievable. And when I was speaking to the chap from Horndean Tyres, he did say the majority of call-outs are just for potholes. Shocking. So we took a video of said pothole. Well, we didn't, I did. It was quite funny, ridiculously so. I said to Mum, right, what we'll do is, well, I was going to sit in the front, and then she said, no, you'll be better sitting in the back. And I said, well, which, on the left or on the right? So we decided this after we'd left her house. So then she pulled over so that I could move. But because we ended up then having a chuckle about where we were going to pull over, we were just about to leave after turning around, and I said, Mum, I haven't got in the back yet. So we did have a bit of a chuckle. But I did from my back seat. There you are. Toucham Meadow. Did actually manage to get the video. And yes, it had already been reported to the council, I believe, twice before. Originally, oh, I'm sorry, that's quite fast camera work. Originally, it had been a little bit of a narrower kind of chunk, I think, which was longer. But now there was just a big old hole. And unfortunately, as you go round the roundabout, well, actually, I wasn't going round the roundabout, I was going left. You have no time to see it before you hit it, as evidenced by the fact that poor lady behind me, exactly the same happened. It wasn't glorious sunny weather, it was terrible weather, and I had a company that I will not be using again. But more drama. I had arranged for my broadband to be renewed, and because I'm going from super fast broadband to fibre, I can't say I've noticed the difference, but hey ho, they had to replace the cabling. So he came inside the house, and Peach was in the lounge. Thanks, Robin. And Peach was inside the house, and she was in the lounge, and when he came in, she froze. I'm going to slightly change that volume because I can hear quite a lot of wind. There's me waving at you all. She froze. And I think at this stage he did some drilling. I think at this stage she stressed herself out so much that she gave herself cystitis again, which is lovely. The plus point, for those of you that were on my last tour when I was talking about the cystitis, is she didn't pee on the bed. So that is a win. However, that evening she went on about 5 times. She kept going onto the litter tray within a short space of time. So I took her to the vets because I was like, I just need to make sure she's not blocked or anything. He confirmed that what I was doing was the right thing, which is giving her some anti-inflammatory, and indeed she wasn't blocked. So that cost, again, wonderfully, another vet trip. The BT engineer, he was great. Lovely, sorted all out, and then 2 days later I sat down in my office, which is not really the office at all, it's a spare room with my work computer in it, And I looked, and there's a wire hanging down in front of the window because, of course, the way that the wire has been, the cable's been changed, there you are, just talking about the sluice refurbishment works. Now means I have a wire cable hanging down in view. Which is marvellous. I'm just reading your comments. Nikki just moved house. Oh, that was a little bit. And this is because I'm speeding up now, because I was like, actually, I wanted to get back. Nikki, she's only 3, and both times have followed stress. It's idiopathic stress cystitis. One of my previous cats unfortunately had it. Fortunately, with a bit of Metacam, she cleared herself up. Just lovely to watch that water there. So yes, this is the excitement. Boy cats can unfortunately get I've had a boy cat. He had urinary stones. You can also get blockages in males for obvious reasons. Leslie, I hadn't turned around. I'd done a bit of a loop. I've kept you on your toes there, haven't I? And then I wanted to finish. I know the hour's gone quite quickly, hasn't it? But it's actually slightly over an hour. I wanted to finish at my favourite water spot. Oh, hello, Rolo. Tuxedos rock. And what you're looking at here is little information cards that they've popped up on those wooden posts, and they have them around Leybourne Lakes as well. So that was about pond skaters, which probably isn't quite as exciting as ice skating people. It's pond skaters. Oh, and there we are. We're rushing down because I was like, oh, I've overrun. I know, Fran, but we've had fun, I hope. So just look at that wonderful frothy cappuccino water. And you're back to me. Huzzah! So I hope you enjoyed my birthday tour. It's a wonderful place. Might go down in the summer or see if we've got any wildflowers. To let you know that next weekend there isn't going to be a tour because I'm going to be away celebrating my mother's birthday. The weekend after is Easter weekend, so we've got an Easter quiz, which is going to be rather exciting. please let me know if you would like me to do some bluebell, if you'd like me to do a bluebell tour, because that will be coming up next month. Yeah, so splendid, lovely. Thank you so much for your company. I hope you've enjoyed yourselves. Thank you again, and thank you to those who've been able to send me some support. It really does help, because without it I wouldn't be able to continue doing the virtual tours. So thank you very much, everybody. And yes, Mummy was a very good mummy, so I will be making sure that I spoil her on her birthday, which is the 29th, where she will be a big round age, which I will not be disclosing. So see you all hopefully in 2 weeks, and we'll be doing our Easter quiz. Haha, and I already know what I'm going to be asking you. So, and I don't think you're going to be able to research. So good. People are liking the idea of a bluebell tour. Lovely. I'll make sure I get that scheduled for you. Take care, everyone. See you soon. Bye.